Hello parents, I'm Mr. Howard Yu. I'm a former PSLE science marker and also the author for the Mastering P5, P6 Science Open-Ended Questions. My track record was I was a science coordinator for the P5 Presbyterian Primary School for 6 years. And then I also taught many students in international schools. And I opened one academy in 2011 to help many students in preparing for their P5 as well as their PSLE examinations. So today, I'd like to take this time to share with you the importance of training for PSLE. Thanks to the Downtown Line, able to bring many students from different parts of Singapore to my annual training to Beauty World Center. And this is actually the subjects or topic tested from P3 to P6. As you can see the level here, the P3, P4 are lower primary subjects. And these are the years from 2017 to 2019. And also forecasted for the past years 2020, as well as last year 2021 topical tests. As you're aware that due to COVID-19, there were 3 topics that were removed for the last 2 years PSLE science, namely the topics of living together, adaptations, and man's impacts on his environment. However, for this year, 2022, due to the live with COVID mentality, MOE may only cancel maybe 1 subject instead of 3. Prayerfully, all these 3 subjects will be tested. That means the students for this year's exam, the PSLE 2022 examinations for science will be tested the full spectrum. This is actually an advantage because for the past 2 years, the topics that were removed like living together, adaptations, man's impact on his environment. Personally, I find that these 3 topics were easier topics. Since they were removed, about 30 to 33% of the marks were reallocated to test the more difficult topics like forces and energy. So it's important that parents are aware that actually these 3 topics, living together, adaptations, man's impact on its environment, are actually easier topic to score. So not to worry, if your child is in my training, I will prepare them very well for even this year's P5 examinations. The other thing the parents need to take note, as you can see in this chart, not many parents are aware, especially if your first child is taking or your eldest child is taking the PSLE. Okay, because in the PSLE examination, up to 65%, I can say up to 65% of the marks were from questions in P3 to P5, okay? Therefore, only about 35% of the marks are from P6 topic. So if your child did not do well, what I mean by did not do well for P5 SA2 last year, did not do well means like your child, number 1, did not pass the section B open-ended questions in his or her P5 Science SA2, it is time that he or she must come for my training. And if your child comes for my training for this year, if he or she is a P6 student, I would advise that let the child join my P5 class. Why is that so? Because as I mentioned, up to 65% of the marks in PSLE, they are testing on topics from P3 to P5. Only about 35% of the marks is for P6. So it's important that the parents understand the test criteria for the PSLE science paper. Okay, let me continue with this explanation in the new slides below. I've received this congratulations SMS or WhatsApp from parents last year on the day itself where the PSLE science paper finishes at about 11. So they say that the exam was easy and the questions I went through with them actually came out. So this is very thankful that the questions which I forecasted and trained the students actually appeared in last year's paper where the students were being tested. And also for here, I spotted some questions that came out in the CHIJ OLQP paper, P5 SA2, and these were the remarks from my parents, and I'm very thankful for their encouragement. And these were the intensive classes which I conducted since as early as 2015, and all of these training are full house. And this year, I'll be doing this repeat training, both in March for a one-day course and in June for a two-day course, both for P5 students and P6 students. So do take note of my broadcast tomorrow on the 22nd of January. And it's important that parents, I believe they are aware that more than 70% of P3 to P6 students, they have difficulty in answering or giving answer with accurate scientific concepts in section B. So they lose their marks. So my purpose and my focus is to help students to master these skills in answering open-ended questions in my SEAL training. So what do I mean by SEAL training? As you know that SEAL is the best military combat in the world. And I have used this term SEAL to represent scientific, experiential, applicational learning. And what are the resources I use? First, I published this book that is available online. You can purchase online or self-collection. The P5 PSLE Science Open-Ended Questions book written by Mr. Yi. And also I developed my own in-house open-ended questions or worksheets. And I use enhanced version of top school science exam paper. What do I mean by enhanced version? For example, I have a database of top school paper. For example, one questions up to, let's say, question 33, part A, part B. And I develop part C based on part B questioning. So I stretch the student further. This is what I do. And for those of you who like to have a experience or introduction of how my training, you can subscribe to my One Academy Science channel. As of today, I have 369 subscribers, 369. Nice number, isn't it? So you can visit my YouTube channel to see some of the questions I have discussed with the student over the past years and some of the online experiments I do. So my philosophy is no pupil is too difficult to coach for science, because science is a very interesting topic. Once you get the students' interest in, they'll be motivated to learn. They're motivated to answer according to the examinations format. And these are my fees, which is actually quite reasonable. For those of you who may have some budget constraint, you can consider the cheaper one by my trainee teacher, Miss Becky. In fact, she's very experienced online tutor. She has coached for at least 3 years, and her class sizes are smaller, up to about 5 students. And for maths lecture conducted by myself in September, in June, and in March. So these are ad hoc sessions you can join in. And most importantly, I warmly welcome you to join my physical class. And more than 95% of the parents, they pay by the termly mode of 930 plus annual material fees of $40, which is very cheap. So do take note, tomorrow on the 22nd of January, I would publish my intensive science training in March and in June this year. So ready for the booking, because all the past years has been fully occupied. So make the training as soon as possible. And this is my schedule for this year's training. Do snapshot this, and these are the limited space left. As you can see, for my Saturday class is 11:20. This is already filled. So those P6 students for this year, I encourage you to join the earlier one, 9 to 11. There are 2, actually now left only 2 seats. Yeah, do hurry. And also for those on Wednesday class, instead of 5 seats left, now I have left 3 seats for Wednesday. And for Thursday, this class, some of the students has migrated. So I may have 1 or 2 vacancies left for this slot, Thursday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, do take note, parents, if your child is in P5, I strongly recommend your child to come for my training as soon as possible. Because as you know, the jump from P4 to P5 for both mathematics and science, the academic jump is quite big. So do not wait until the child fail in P5 SA1, then you join, because it's too late. Or sometimes maybe not as late, but the child should have joined earlier, because the bulk of PSLE test content for science are being learned at P5 level. So it's very important, if your child is preparing for next year 2023 PSLE, I strongly recommend your child come for my P5 training. In fact, I have more vacancies in P5 than in P6. So do take note of my existing class for P5, which is actually tonight, Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is a 2-hour sessions. And I need a minimum of 2 students to start a new P5 class, perhaps on Thursday. So for those who may consider online like P6 student, I have only one online class on Saturday, 4:15 to 6 p.m. And my center is conveniently located at Beauty World Center, which is just next to the Beauty World Downtown Line MRT station. So we observe very good safe distancing to adhere to the government's protocol. So I wish you all the best. Together we soar higher. Happy and holistic education begins in one academy. So this is my hotline, 8268-5299, 8268-5299. So I wish you all the best in your child's education with one academy. Thank you very much, parents. Stay safe. God bless. Take care.